Imagine a drug invented for weight loss and blood sugar control that quietly cuts the risk of depression and anxiety getting worse by nearly half. Not by a little, by 42%. In April 2026, researchers published a landmark study in The Lancet Psychiatry. They followed almost 100,000 people for more than a decade. What they found had nothing to do with the scale.
People taking semaglutide, the active molecule in Ozempic and Wegovy, had a dramatically lower chance of their existing depression or anxiety deteriorating. Not a mild improvement, not a statistical fluke, a 42% reduction. Scientists didn't see this coming. This was supposed to be a metabolic drug, a diabetes drug, a weight loss drug. It turns out the brain has been part of the story the entire time, and researchers are only just starting to understand how deep that connection really goes. Section 1. What is this drug, actually? Before we go further, here's the foundation. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1. Your own body makes it in your gut right after you eat. It tells your pancreas to release insulin, slows down digestion, and sends a signal to your brain. Enough. You're full. Scientists identified this hormone in the 1980s. For decades, they used versions of it to help people with type 2 diabetes manage blood sugar. Semaglutide is a lab-engineered copy of this natural molecule, designed to stay in the body longer and work harder. Here's the thing nobody fully appreciated at first. GLP-1 receptors, the docking stations this hormone attaches to, are not only in the gut, they are in the brain, in regions that control mood, memory, reward, and craving. This means we're no longer talking about just a stomach medication. We're talking about something that directly affects the body's command center, the brain. That changes the entire story. Section 2. The brain connection. The first signal that something unusual was happening came from the heart. In 2023, a major clinical trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine, the most cited medical journal in the world, tracked 17,604 people with obesity and established heart disease. None had diabetes. Half got semaglutide, half got a placebo. After nearly 3 years, the semaglutide group had 20% fewer major cardiovascular events, including strokes, meaning this drug was protecting the blood supply to the brain. That opened a door. If semaglutide was reducing stroke risk, what else was it doing inside the skull? The Lancet Psychiatry study from 2026 answered part of that. The researchers compared the same individuals during periods on semaglutide versus periods off it. Same people. Different times. During semaglutide periods, the risk of worsening depression dropped 44%. Worsening anxiety dropped 38%. Worsening substance use disorder dropped 44%. That is not a subtle finding. That is a signal strong enough that the authors called for immediate randomized trials. And then there is Alzheimer's. A 2024 study using nationwide U.S. health records, published in Alzheimer's and Dementia, found that patients on semaglutide were significantly less likely to receive a first-time Alzheimer's diagnosis compared to patients on other diabetes drugs. A 2025 meta-analysis in JAMA Neurology confirmed the pattern across multiple independent studies. Scientists think they know part of why. Semaglutide reduces systemic inflammation throughout the body, including in the brain, and it stabilizes blood sugar. The brain runs almost entirely on glucose. Unstable glucose over years creates metabolic stress that accelerates brain aging. Remove that stress, and the brain may age more slowly. Just think about it for a moment. We may be looking at a tool that doesn't just reduce waist size, but could also help protect the brain from the effects of aging.
But hold on. What if I told you that everything we've been taught about willpower and self-control is about to be turned upside down? Scientists have stumbled upon something that blurs the line between personal choice and brain chemistry. Something even the drug's creators never saw coming.
Section 3. The addiction angle. Here is where it gets even stranger. GLP-1 receptors exist in the brain's reward circuit, the same network activated by alcohol, nicotine, and opioids. And when semaglutide reaches those receptors, something unexpected happens. It appears to turn down the volume on craving. In 2025, the first randomized controlled trial of semaglutide for alcohol use disorder was published in JAMA Psychiatry. 48 adults with alcohol use disorder. Half got semaglutide, half got a placebo. The semaglutide group showed a significant reduction in alcohol self-administration and craving. First controlled trial. First real-world evidence beyond observation. And the observational data had already been striking. A 2024 study in Nature Communications found semaglutide linked to lower rates of alcohol use disorder in a large, real-world population. Separate analyses found signals with reduced tobacco use and lower opioid overdose risk. Scientists did not design this drug to do any of that. The brain's own GLP-1 receptors appear to be doing it anyway.
And then there is Parkinson's disease. In 2024, the New England Journal of Medicine published a double-blind trial of a GLP-1 receptor agonist in people with early Parkinson's. The drug slowed motor deterioration.
Not stopped it, slowed it. Researchers believe GLP-1 receptors in the brain may help protect the dopamine-producing neurons that Parkinson's gradually destroys. The picture being assembled is of a molecule whose reach inside the nervous system is still being mapped. Section 4. The hidden cost. Now, this is the part I've been holding back. Because with everything surprising in this research, there is a finding in the data that is not getting nearly enough attention. When people lose weight on semaglutide, not all of that weight is fat. And now, here's the part I haven't told you until now. Because I want to be completely honest with you. Amid all the hype surrounding the so-called miracle drug, there's a concerning truth that isn't getting nearly enough attention. In the Step 1 trial, the landmark New England Journal study that put semaglutide on the map, participants lost an average of 15.3 kilograms over 68 weeks. But when researchers measured body composition carefully, they found that 45% of that weight came from lean mass, not fat, muscle and associated tissue, nearly half. A 2024 systematic review in diabetes, obesity, and metabolism confirmed it across multiple trials. Up to 40 to 45% of total weight lost on semaglutide is lean tissue. The Semaglutide study, a 2026 prospective study with 106 patients measured using DXA scans and grip strength testing, found that lean mass fell by 3 kilograms in the first 7 months and muscle function declined alongside it. For a 30-year-old, losing muscle during weight loss and rebuilding it through exercise is manageable. For a 65-year-old, it is a different situation. Muscle loss in older adults is directly linked to falls, fractures, and loss of independence.
Scientists are not dismissing the benefits, but they are urgently asking, how do we protect muscle during GLP-1 treatment? Early data suggests resistance training and higher protein intake during treatment meaningfully reduce lean mass loss. The research is still being built.
Section 5. What the science currently shows. This is not a section about what to do. These are prescription medications. Any decision belongs between a patient and their doctor. But here is what the research actually shows right now.
The 20% cardiovascular risk reduction is established in a large randomized trial. The 42% mental illness signal is from a 100,000-person national cohort. The addiction effect has now crossed from observational data into a randomized trial. The dementia association is consistent across multiple independent studies.
It also shows clearly that lean mass loss is real and significant. And it shows that this science is genuinely incomplete. The mental health trials, the dementia studies, the addiction research, most are still underway. We are watching a major scientific story develop in real time, and it is already more interesting than almost anyone expected. And one more thing, approx.
Here is what this research adds up to. A drug developed in the 1980s to manage blood sugar turns out to have a reach inside the human nervous system that researchers are still mapping. A 42% drop in mental illness worsening. A consistent link to lower Alzheimer's risk. The first randomized trial showing reduced alcohol craving. A Parkinson's trial that slowed motor decline. And alongside all of it, a lean mass loss pattern that deserves far more attention than it's currently getting.
Which part of this surprised you most? The mental health data? The Alzheimer's connection? Or the muscle finding? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more videos that go this deep into the actual science, no hype, no spin, just what the research actually found, you know what to do. Next week I'm going somewhere just as counterintuitive as this. Same rigor, completely different story. See you then.